Hello, everyone. My name is Rabib. I am a security researcher at Quantstamp. Quantstamp is one of the leading providers of cybersecurity services in the Web3 industry. And today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the evolving threat landscape in Web3, security-wise, as well as discuss how we're positioning to respond to the new kinds of threats that we're seeing. So without further ado, let's get started. I'd like to reflect with you a little bit about the kinds of exploits that we've been seeing recently. Namely, this past month, April 2026, was one of the most damaging for the industry. Just an example of what we're seeing now is not just smart contract hacks like we've seen in the past, not just phishing attacks where people unfortunately lose individuals' money, but one of the key perps protocols on Solana, Drift, was hacked this past month through the use of really extraordinary resources. What we saw effectively was North Korean operatives met with the Drift team in person on multiple occasions at multiple conferences, and they deployed over $1 million of their capital, effectively gaining trust to some extent from the Drift team. And they were posing as traders in this scenario. And effectively, they were able to compromise two of the signers on Drift's multi-sig wallet, and were able to sign a series of transactions that executed on chain and ended up draining over $200 million worth of Drift's TVL. Now, of course, this is a very unfortunate situation, but it's kind of opening our eyes to what's going on right now, which is we're not just seeing pure smart contract hacks. We're not just seeing pure operational security bypasses, but we're seeing really a combination of the two, where people are, North Korean operatives and other malicious actors in the space are using extraordinary amounts of effort in order to compromise people in the industry, to the point where, if your protocol has a certain number of TVL, you're essentially painting a target on the backs of everybody who's managing that protocol to some extent and or has some amount of control over that TVL, whether explicit or implicit. And so what we really need to do is kind of address the dual threat layer here, which is not just smart contracts, not just operational security, but the two in tandem, right? And so what are we doing in response to this? Now, you may know us as one of the largest providers of security audits in Web3, and we're continuing to remain at the top of this game. And currently, we don't just audit smart contracts. Smart contracts, of course, is one of our main focus areas, but we also focus on new blockchains, light clients, wallets, and related web infrastructure. So we're interested in smart contracts in EVM, Solana, the Move ecosystem, and as well as more recently the Canton ecosystem as well. But we're capable of a lot more than that as well. We do things like penetration testing in order to make sure that all sorts of different kinds of applications are secure in the Web3 space. As well, we help people throughout their life cycle, not just prior to deployment, but also if you have a new feature or if you're trying to upgrade something, we're here to help as well. And we've worked with some of the leading names in this industry, such as Alchemy, Visa, Circle, and of course AI people as well. We've been able to red team Anthropic's bug bounty, so that's been fun. We've been able to jailbreak their LLM. As well, so moving on past the smart contract security space, we're also helping out in operational security as well. So you may be familiar with Security Alliance, also known as SEAL. They help people, they're famous for helping people with funds recovery. So if you got hacked, one of the people that you can reach out to is SEAL. And so recently they put out a request for comments on a new operational security standard that they're formalizing. And we responded to the request for comments with a number of points of feedback, and they've been merged into the framework in multiple PRs. As well, we do help people firm up their operational security standards. So we have a team that is an expert in understanding what the major attack vectors are for Web3 businesses as well. And so really, we're trying to help people across the stack, not just in smart contracts, but also operational security. As well, AI has helped us improve the kinds of tooling in this industry. So one thing that we've worked on is a tool called On-Chain Hunter. And basically, it is capable of agentically analyzing live protocols. So basically what you can do is submit it a kind of like a list of seed addresses, like on-chain. Let's say they're smart contracts for a given protocol. And what it can do is actually analyze not just the seed addresses that you gave it, but what it will do is do a breadth-first search of all the associated addresses as well. So for example, if you have one protocol that's integrating with another, what it can do is read on-chain storage autonomously, understand how the two interact with each other. And so not only can it draft up the architecture of a given smart contract protocol, but it can also identify autonomously vulnerabilities that are live. And so we can help protocols by securely disclosing these kinds of vulnerabilities to maintainers. And so here's an example of kind of, I had to redact a lot of text from this image, but basically this is an analysis of a given transaction where the red edges here are going from blue nodes, which are smart contracts. And so the red edges are actually illustrating an event which is showing that ownership has been transferred to a new address. And so, yeah, basically you can feed a transaction in and it will describe graphically what's happening in that transaction. As well, we've also developed another tool called Digital Sherlock. And so it's comprised of a number of agents that basically, the use case here is to understand what happened after a hack. What kind of behavioral profiles are we seeing in the transaction logs, and what are the flow of funds? And so, as well as providing suggestions on how to contain further losses post-hack. Oh yeah, and this is another, again, redacted example of our on-chain hunter finding vulnerabilities in a live protocol. Another thing that we're working on, which is maybe relatable for some in the audience, is well, let me speak from a personal example. I recently had somebody DM me reaching out with a $15,000 a month advisory position. And so they were saying, hey, you don't have to do too much work, but you'll get a lot of money just from agreeing to work with us, right? It might raise some eyebrows, but if you're not careful, you might be convinced, because I mean, these guys, they were putting on some moves, right? And so what we're working on right now is a product that can slot directly into your DMs. So whether you're using Telegram or you're using iMessage or even your email, it will proactively analyze the messages that you're receiving, and using an AI kind of classification, using large language models, using a proprietary algorithm, it will be able to alert you proactively about whether you're receiving a suspicious message. So in this case, it was able to determine, hey, 75%, this looks pretty fishy. You should be careful about this message that you got, right? So, yeah. So this is something that if you're not, if something seems particularly convincing, but there are a bunch of red flags, it can alert you to this kind of issue. And so, yeah, thank you so much for listening to my presentation. If you'd like to learn more about anything I've talked about today, or if you'd just like to get in touch, here's my Telegram contact. But yeah, of course, you can just talk to me on the floor. So thank you very much for having me. Yeah.